Now we're gonna talk about how I made this project both for Android as well as a VR headset, while it's like a cross-platform multiplayer. So first of all, when we are building in Android, here you can see that in every scenes I have separated out the specific needs for an Android or a VR. For example, main camera. In Android, we just need a main camera that will display the scene's content in the screen. But for VR, we need to have this OVR player interaction. And similarly, for Android, we just need a overlay screen space. For VR, we need a wall space canvas. So I have separated out the differences between a flat screen and a VR. And when I will build for flat screen, I will just activate these. When I will build for VR, I will activate these. Same is happening for every scenes. In main menu, we have the same thing. In character select, we have the same. Cosmos, we have the same. So I had to design everything in such a way so that I have minimum dependency of a script in its respective Android or VR game object. What I meant is this scene loader, it needs a reference of this loading screen, and now this loading screen is different for Android and a VR. So when I will go for a VR build, I will just change from loading screen to loading screen VR, and done this. And I will turn off these and turn on these, and this scene is set up for VR build or testing, VR testing, just like this. And same for a main menu scene, I have to just turn off these and turn on these. Now here there is no reference, all are different objects, so we don't need to refer any of this to like what we did in startup scene. No, this kind of reference is there in main menu, which is good. In character select, we have a reference thing. So first we will turn off all these and turn on these, and then here we have the references on this client character select state. Let's see what are the references. First we need to inject few things. This one is there, but we need to change this to here. And then settings panel, we don't have it here, so we will remove it. For the player seats, we have to give the VR player seats from VR canvas. So we take all 4 of them, paste it here, and then down we have this ready text that we will get, and this button, title and background, waiting for others, lobby ending splash, and finally the fatal error, and done. This scene is set up. So only one game object need to have different references, and done. Next we have the Cosmos scene. Here we have to turn off these and turn on these, and here we need to add a reference. Similar, just add this one and remove this one because it's not in the VR section. So and it's done. So we just set up the entire project for its VR. And one more thing we have to do is go to platform config, change it to VR, and then inside editor project settings we just have to turn on this and turn on this, and we are absolutely ready to play it in VR. If I go and build, we can instantly create a VR build. So that's how it is done. And opposite to VR is the flat screen. We just have to turn off these and turn these back on. Go here, change this to this. Startup scene done. In main menu we have to turn on these and turn off these. In character select, this is the only big part, and turn off these, turn this back on, and here we go. We have to add some references. First is this one, second is this one, and then also change these. Here these 4, and then ready text, ready button, title and background, waiting for others, lobby ending splash, faddle. Yeah, and this is done. And then if we go to Cosmos, we just turn this off, turn this back on, and here I need to refer this flat screen and the settings panel. And we are again back to our flat screen or mobile device. One more thing is just to go project settings and turn off Oculus XR plugin management, and we are done. So few things need to be remembered is that whenever there is an object that has a network object attached to it, component attached to it, for example in query select, I am referencing different things in the same script. I could have just duplicated this and put them in both, but that will not work because we have this network object, and this network object need to be same for both the builds because it has a global object ID has value that gets synced. So if I have one build that has a different network object than the other, then they will not be synced. So I had to keep this network object as a single game object that will be same for both the VR build or Android build. Now obviously I will make some improvement, and I will try to detach the references from here, and ultimately make sure that I don't have to do these references that I'm doing now. That's also I think easy. We'll do it later, but for now when we are creating multiplayer in different platforms, we need to make sure that the things that have a network object attached to it, the game objects that have a network object attached to it, those game objects need to be the same in different builds, in all the builds. Even in Cosmos, this is a network object, so it needed to be the same. I can't just duplicate it and put one in under flat screen and another VR, then that network object won't be synced. One more thing quickly also is this player avatar, because once we are inside a hosting state or a client connected state, then our network manager spawns this persistent player, and then this persistent player will spawn the respective player avatar. And here we can see that we have two different cameras, one for flat screen and one for VR. So this will be set at runtime depending on what config value we choose here. So just after the player avatar is spawned, the player avatar will see that from this script, here the player avatar will see from this script that which is the current platform, and depending on that platform, either this or this will be activated. So this is for VR camera, this is for flat screen camera. That's all was needed, and there are few changes. These will be explained later, and also easy to understand, so nothing much. The main objective is make sure the network object is same for both the builds.